Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's all right. This is good. Okay. And that'll be okay here. Let me check if all is well over here. And hello, everybody. We are live on what is the last show for the month today. So for those that don't know, we're going to talk about that because several things have combined in having me completely remove my office. So big changes, and of course some painting. And so when we come back, it's going to be much different. This side might look still pretty much the same, but that side will look very different, as it's going to be a very different thing that I'm going to do here. I've yet to totally grasp exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, but it does involve big changes in the way of how things are going to be done. So, new office and lots of things happening. Welcome, everybody. This is the live show for Shortwave Radio. We talk about radio. We have fun with radio. We just enjoy our hobby of radio listening and hope that everybody's going to find it cool. It's going to be a little shorter because I do have an engagement today. We have a reservation with friends at a restaurant a little later on today. So we are going to have to leave earlier than usual, as the reservation's at 7 p.m. local. So that also will make it a little shorter than usual. But we'll try to make the best of it. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America, and we are here to entertain, talk about radio, shortwave radio. I've got radio hooked here to check out when we can hear some stuff on the bands. Hopefully this is going to be nice to check out, and that some of you will enjoy the radio listening that we will have.
You don't have a script. Wrong with you?
So, yeah. Okay. So, anyways, we're going to talk about radio and just have fun. Let me check. So there are several ways you can contact us. One of them is email. So there's, of course, the email is officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, where you can say hi, and where it says that apparently somebody on the official Shortwave channel is live. So nobody said hello through email this moment. officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. And of course, there's a beautiful chat room with wonderful people that are cool, great, and a lot of fun. They are there definitely to help, because this is the place where we want to help. We want to be the place where you want to go to because you want to have answers to even the simplest of questions. And of course, that means that everybody's welcome here. And that's the fun part. And that's, what I would have loved to have when I started on Shortwave. We all have that question that we never ask, because it's like, well, I'm not going to ask that. I think it's too dumb, And no, there's no dumb questions at all. I say it all the time. We're not born with a shortwave radio in our hands, and it's a hobby that has a lot of little details and little things to learn, and we're here to help with that. So join if you have a Gmail account. If not, you can join the Facebook group if you have Facebook. And that's a great place also where people share, even I share what I'm listening to and what's happening in the bands. So why not take a look at the Facebook group? It has the same name as the channel here, official SWL channel. And we, of course, also answer questions and have fun over there. One of the things that I just mentioned was the fact that this is the last show of July. I'm going to take 4 weeks off, and because lots of things are going to happen here. One is that downstairs they have found again some bed bugs, which means next Monday, the 19th, they're going to spray even my apartment to make sure that, it's done everywhere to kill the little bastards. Once again, I'm lucky. I don't have any and I don't want any, but it has to be done. So that's the first step. And it means that I have to move everything in my office. So that's the first step here. And this is a complex thing. Moving everything in my office is the most complex thing you can have in the world. So, what's going to happen is that since I have to move everything, let's go for it and go all in. Last year, we were talking about painting, which hasn't been done because of COVID, and it changed everything. Now, moving everything, painting is going to happen also. So I'm going to wait until they've sprayed and everything, and we're going to paint this place. But we're going to also change, because one of the problems that I've noticed in the office here is, when you have too much stuff, at some point, if, for example, something like you have to move everything because of, whatever, you end up looking at everything and you're like, whoa, this is like a major thing to do. So what I thought is, okay, let's make this room, because it has a lot of stuff, but make it more functional. And if I ever have to move stuff, what's going to be nice is that it's going to be easier to deal with that, because everything will be done in a way that it's going to be easier to just have access everywhere. So that's the first thing. Painting, because this place hasn't been painted in a long time, and it needs to have a fresh coat of paint. So that's going to be done at the same time. If I have to move everything in the middle of the room, might as well paint the place. And so I'm still thinking exactly what I'm going to do. I was thinking of maybe leaving one wall with a very bright white paint for my projector, and I would be able to have projection also, not just have TV screen. There's going to be shelves. I'm going to take those that have seen my older shows. I was often in the corner desk, which is a big, very heavy desk. I purchased that when I moved here, and it served me well for a long time. Problem, it's one of those desks made for desktop computers. I don't use a desktop anymore, and I am mostly with either laptops or mini PCs on big TV screens. So I don't need something like that. And it's big, takes a lot of space. It's impossible to move around. So I thought that I'd get rid of that and put shelves that will have the stuff that I need on them. There's another brown desk over there that, that thing, I think my dad purchased that brown desk when I was like 12. It was actually my main kind of desk when I was using my Commodore computer. So it dates back a long time. I kept it because there's a lot of storage space inside it. But you look at the storage space and you realize, you know what? It's full of junk that I never use. So that's the other thing. You're like, okay, I got tons of junk I never use. I don't need that. I let's really do a cleanup. Let's kind of start fresh, and let's have a new functional office that will be easier to manage. So all of that, the painting, the treatment for the bed bugs downstairs and everywhere, the reorganization, and I might need to buy something that I still don't know. Things I'm going to change. There's some old power bars. They're like 20 years, 30 years old here. How about getting rid of those 30-year-old power bars, buying fresh, new, good quality power bars to replace, and rethink how everything's going to be interconnected, and trying to make it easier also, so that when I connect stuff, it's easy to just know what wire goes where. Because right now, if I pick up a wire, I have no idea where it goes. It's half of my wires are like, what's that, and where does it go to? Because you add radios, you add technology, and what happens is that at some point you're like, I've got 17 wires crossing here. I know what 5 of them do, and I have no idea what the 12 others are actually all about, until one day you unplug one and you're like, oh, look at that. That wire actually was connected to that. And some you unplug and you're like, nothing happens. Is it something that I'm not using anymore? And there's a few of them here. Even down under my big desk, there's like 3 power bars with tons of things connected. But over the years, I had less and less stuff connected. So I am under the impression that there are some wall warts that are plugged in there that are connected to nothing on the other end. But I just left them there. And now is the time to really make a big, big cleanup of all of that. And maybe tag. I was thinking of putting tags on every wire, like, this is the MLA30, this is that, to know what everything, what's with everything and what it's used for and where does it go. There are old wires that are here for the simple reason that it's too difficult. It was too difficult to start removing them. So I'm sure some of you had that at some point in your rooms. Maybe it's the way that it goes through the room. It's like, no, okay, so I'm not using this wire anymore, but it's too complicated to remove it. So just leave it there, doing nothing. It's easier than removing it. So there's a couple of those here for sure. I know I have a null modem cable, like RS232 cable that goes through here that is not used anymore and hasn't been used in like ages. It was there because I would do stuff with that when I remember I had an HP desktop with a serial port in the back. But I don't do that anymore. And the only the things that I have is a USB to serial adapter with a USB cable and connected to the Amiga. So that is much simpler to manage. So there's a lot of wires here. There's a lot of stuff. I have no idea. I also want to make sure that I have a very nice way of having in display every single radio I have in shelves in certain ways. That also makes it easy that if I want to use that old radio today, that's what I'm going to use. If I want to use that old radio today, I'm going to use that. So this is going to be a big operations, and that's why I'm taking 4 weeks, because I know that 1 week will be dedicated to, so next week, dedicated to removing everything, packing everything in boxes that I will put them in the shelves temporarily. Then the week after is going to be sprayed on Monday. That week, I'm going to start painting. So I'm going to paint the whole room. Once it's all done, the week after, well, starting next week and the week after is probably going to be, so how do I put my stuff? Where do I put the shelves? What would be the best way to manage all of this? And I know that, in there, I'm going to be like, because right now I purchased 2 big shelves on Amazon. I'm going to look at that. They're 2 big plastic resin type shelves that can actually hold up to 1,000 pounds. And they weren't too expensive, and they're about 6 feet tall. They have five levels. But I know that I might be putting that and thinking, maybe I need another one, or maybe it would be nice if I had something else. I have a table also. One of the things I was thinking about, sometimes you want to have temporary operations in some specific place. One of those things that I have is I have a table that I purchased a few months ago, which you guys have seen in some of my videos because I take it outside. So it's a table that you can remove the legs and just have it store it somewhere when you don't use it. Take it out, and it's a nice big table. And so when I need portable, a table somewhere on the balcony, wherever, or do videos, I just take out the table, put it up, put the radios on it, make my videos, dismantle the table, store it again. And so I'm thinking, well, that table could be used for some temporary setups even here. One of the things that videos of radio have made me also think about is right now, the way that I do videos with radios, I'm not always satisfied. I would like, probably one of the things I would totally like is have a specific setup made just for radio videos, which would not be the table here or anything. It would be a table that's always like very nice. I put like a little background, like, fake bricks or whatever. So that it looks beautiful, looks nice, and looks like the radios are in a really, and I would like to have a dedicated space that when I want to do radio videos with portables or whatever, that we go there and that's where it's done. That's where everything is going to be tested. That's where, I'll have some antenna wires and everything accessible easily so that I can, external antenna or whatever. I got ideas, and it's not fully realized. It's when half of the room will be empty from the old desks that I'm going to start to probably have kind of a vision of what I really want to do. And it will be, of course, focused on two main things. First, the room's going to be focused on YouTube videos because that's now what I do. It's the only thing I do for a living. So if I have to do that for a living, that also means let's focus on making this room YouTube friendly, and also focus on the two main things that I do on YouTube, which is radio videos and computer videos. So this is going to be a big, I think, a pretty big job. And if I have to put all that work into it, let's try to do it well and do it in a way that it's easy to manage, and that also that I know that once I do all of that, when everything's set up, that's not going to change for the next years. It's going to be like that. So that's the reason I'm thinking 4 weeks. It's not 4 weeks of vacation. It's 4 weeks of really focusing on a complete, redo of this office, the house also, because if I paint, we're going to paint everywhere else that I haven't painted in the last years. So bedroom has to be done, and living room, fresh coat of paint in the living room would be nice. Kitchen has to be really, really, really painted well again. All of that means, let's focus on doing all of that. Once it's done, back live shows, back to their normal life, but with a different setup, a different way. I don't know yet. I've been thinking of maybe moving this desk back to a different position that it was before. That could be one of the things I want to do, and have the shelves on that side. We're going to see, because one of the things I want to have is a. I also, 'cause I have a big world map, and everybody knows in a shack, a Radio Shack is fun with a big world map. You can look at your map and it's like, oh, this guy is, this ham radio operator is, in Norway, and you look at nothing like looking at a map and it's like, okay, Norway's there, and I'm here. Pretty incredible, the distance. Or this station I'm listening to transmits from that side or that place, or Madagascar, and having a visual on a map is a lot of fun. So I'd like to have a map, a really nice map. The one I have here is nice. It's still very up to date, but I don't know, that map probably is like 15 years old, 10 to 15. So maybe kind of refresh it with a brand new map on the wall. Anyways, all of that, lots of stuff coming up. And the main reason why I am going to be 4 weeks off, there will be radio videos. So don't worry, guys. It's 4 weeks off of live shows. But, when I'm got enough of my day of working around here, I'm going to take my radios, go out. I plan on trying to have a few days in there that I'm going to go to Perry Island and do little urban de-expeditions. So I think this is going to be pretty cool. So I think it's, the 4 weeks going to be worthwhile, as it's going to continue our future of radio videos and videos in general on YouTube. And so you guys, hope that you enjoy and have, going to try to have better visuals. I'm thinking of, so I like my Philips smart bulbs. I'm going to change the lighting on the top here, which is an old, the lamp there is probably the same lamp that's been here when this was built in 1950. I'm pretty sure. So I am going to remove that and put something more modern, and put some, I don't know. I saw something that might be interesting. It's a lighted projection bar with that you can actually have the light, orient the lights in different ways, and that can just be of any color you want, from soft white to whatever color of the rainbow. It's a smart light, and looks kind of cool. And I thought that could kind of give a little something fun to my office here, and having colors and having all sorts of lighting systems, and make things more beautiful for the visuals, because there's also that side. One of the things when you do videos on YouTube is you try to have something that visually looks, visually looks appealing to your viewers. And when you can do something that looks nice, the videos, you look even more interesting to look at, because everything you do looks beautiful in the background. And I've had a lot of people over the time tell me, oh, you got some beautiful backgrounds sometimes. Like, there's one that is interesting. There's a couple of, maybe a month and a half ago, I did a couple of videos, and somebody said, wow, I love your radios on that wood surface with the bricks in the background, or the brick wall. And, in front of the camera, you can fool a little bit with different things. What I had done actually is the radios were on top of my dishwasher, and the top of my dishwasher is also kind of a wooden counter, because it's a dishwasher on wheels. And so it's a very beautiful, countertop, wooden countertop. And because in the background it was the hot water tank, which is not a very beautiful picture in the background, I actually printed brick patterns, and I had glued them to a cardboard box, and I would just put the cardboard there in the back. And so when I did the videos, I got a couple of comments of, wow, this is a very nice setup. It's the top of my dishwasher with a fake brick background, but it does a job. It does the job. You look at it and you're like, well, that setup on the radios is so beautiful. Yeah, it's a fake setup, but it's a nice setup. So there's all sorts of things like that that you do sometimes, because I do always try to think of, when I do a video, of the background, what it looks like. 'Cause I think it's important in the visuals to try to have a beautiful background and not look like it's like all messed up. So I often do little things like that to try to make make it easier on the eyes to watch. Anyway, enough blabber about what's going to happen here. But 4 weeks off for all of that, and I'm part of me is scared of all the job that I have to do, but part of me I know will be, actually I will be very happy once it's done. Probably I will be like, wow, this is cool. And it feels cool to reinvent a room and reinvent places. It feels like you've moved to another place. So hope that you guys will enjoy when I come back. I already have a date, by the way, for you guys, when I come back. So if you want to put that in your calendar and you want to know when I'm coming back, the next live show and the return of the regular schedules will be August 11th. It's a Wednesday, August 11th, with the 8 p.m. Eastern live show, or Thursday 0 hours UTC. And starting from there, we're going to be back with the regular schedules of live shows. So August 11th is the return of the live shows. And, we'll already be, a big chunk of the summer is already going to be past there. We're going to slowly look forward towards the fall and back into the winter and all of that. So going to be pretty cool. Okay, now I can take a sip of wine. Got the wine. Cheers, everybody. This wine is, by the way, very good. If you're looking for a good white wine that's not rough, because often red wine. If you are like me, most red wines I find very tough, and I usually go more into the white wine. But this one is, I discovered this one a couple of months ago when the liquor store where I go, they have an app and they give you suggestions of things to try. I've been trying their suggestions. Luna di Luna. This is what it looks like. Luna di Luna. This is an Italian wine, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's not rough. It's really delicate, and it tastes great. So if you're a red wine lover, do try it. If you're not a red wine lover but need to have red wine for some reason, get a bottle of that. I think it's going to be an easier than a lot of red wines that are out there. Okay, Nick Amendout from Romania. Nice to have you here. Bobby Burgess from Morgan City, Louisiana, USA. Nice to have you on board. Jeff Williams. Nice to have you here from Southwest Cornwall, UK. Michael Thompson. Nice to have you on board from New Jersey, N2NLQ. Liz. Nice to have you on board, Liz. Graham. Nice to have you on board. Good afternoon. And Paul Lecat in an almost least sunny Milton, Ontario. Heard my first hams from New Zealand and Australia on SSB during the 13 Colonies contest. Wow, cool. That is cool. These are not super easy to get. A lot of hams from, everything from the Pacific, Asia, and New Zealand, Australia, and all those parts of the world. They're not the easiest on ham radio. So it's really cool. Paul, nice to have you here from St. Joe, Michigan, listening to crazy Chicago Police Department traffic. M1MBZ, nice to have you here from England. Richard, nice to have you here from Albany, New York. Be watching many of your shows from the past before I found your channel, so the learning never stops. Cool. And that's what a lot of people do. Every time I take a few weeks off, like last summer, I took a few weeks off. And it's funny because a lot of you guys came back and said, well, since you weren't live, I went back and watched older shows that I had not seen from last year or the year before, which is, a way of kind of keeping with the habit of watching the stuff that I do. There's a lot of those shows. I mean, I've been doing shows since about 2013, something like that. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Derek, nice to have you on board from Kansas City. David, KJ4CMY, nice to have you here from Central Georgia. Shortwave listener, M83303SWL, good evening from Bolton, northwest of UK. Nice to have you on board. Charles Williams, nice to have you here from San Diego. Michael Thompson, are all of radio pirates drunk on rum because they are pirates? Not all, but I suspect some are, and I suspect some are. When they start talking, you're like, yeah, I think I had a little drink. But yeah, who knows? They have an eye patch. TVDXer, bonjour, ça va bien? J'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. Christian Marcoux, salut, j'espère que ça va bien. So, yeah, thousands of videos, beaucoup de vidéos. Regarder, absolutely. And of course, there's going to be a lot of stuff. And, we're going to come back. Don't worry, guys. What do we have? Charlie, W8CFO, nice to have you here from Columbus, Ohio. René Charbonnier, and from Radio Classic Sunday. Nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. We have Of the Dawn. Nice to have you here. Jolt Dude just got his ATS 909 X2 back from CNGN. Cool. Sean, nice to have you on board. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue depuis Lyon en France. J'espère que ça va bien. Mickey Dalmage, good afternoon. Nice to have you here from Sherwood Park, Alberta. And another heat wave over there. Wow, here it's been surprisingly cool for the past few days. For me to have to wear my hoodie in July, it was cool. Today is better. Today we're in like about 80, which is typical normal temperature for this time of year. But there's no big heat wave here. They were explaining in the weather that we are in the Quebec and parts of Ontario are stuck in kind of a weather pattern that brings us a lot of the cooler air from the north coming down all the time and keeps the heat to the west. So that's why you guys are like going crazy with heat waves. Apparently, the way that the patterns are done is like the heat waves are stuck in the west. VT Radio, nice to have you here. Paul, AA1SU from Vermont. MStax, nice to have you on board. And says, we'll all be here a month from now. Actually, one of the things that I've seen when I actually take a month off is often when I come back, there's more people watching. It's as if people realize, you know what, I miss the show. And then you end to the fact that, oh, look at that. It's back. It's fun. I was missing the show. Bobby Burgess, no problem. Have a good time. Christian Fritz Harris. Christian, nice to have you here. So one of the Preps magazine promoting Shortwave. So nice to have you here. Device 9, nice to have you on board near Seattle. Mobile Armored Command, nice to have you here from Boulder Hill. Ammon K, nice to have you on board. And the DGen D1103, yes, I did a lot of videos on that one. I actually showed it again a couple of days ago. Prepper Magazine, Christian. Trustin, nice to have you here from Newfoundland. It's last day of school. He's off for the summer. Michael Thompson. I will enjoy my evening, absolutely. Stephen Wood, nice to have you on board from Cape Cod. N6 RLS, nice to have you here from Berkeley, California. Robin, N6 RLS. We have 145SFG, nice to have you on board. New office, it's Perestroika. It will be all decorated in old communism. I imagine you guys like, what the hell happened to that guy? Too much Radio Moscow. RJDA Dakota, nice to have you on board from Wentzville, Missouri. Derek says, having fun with SDR. Last week, managed to pick up NHK Japan from France. The furthest yet. Also been running across HM01 from Cuba frequently. So continue testing around and going around. You're going to find some stuff. There's a lot of stuff to listen to. I actually had a great find last night. So you guys may have seen the picture of my balcony with the lights at night, which is very nice. And it's a cool place to listen to the radio. The problem with my friend balcony is that it's noisy. And it's not the best place for the radio listening, even though I'd like that place to be the best place. By accident, and this is the fun of sometimes by accident you do something. By accident. So I had this. So this is the Texan compact antenna. So it's like the St. Gian reel-in antenna. You just stick it out and reel it back in when it's over. But this is the Texan one. This was included, by the way, in the box with my Texan PL 990X. So when I was on the balcony yesterday, I had a hard time. I was listening to the pirate station from Europe on 5800 with via WRMI, and then I wanted to listen to Paul Walker's radio thingy. And it was there, but it was very noisy, and I started thinking, well, I guess I'm going to go back in the balcony where it's dark, but I got the W6LVP to help out. I was using this clipped to the same wooden pole that my MLA30 is on, and I was trying different patterns of wires and didn't work. While I pulled, it unclipped and it actually fell downstairs. So it actually unrolled completely straight down, and it was almost touching. It's pretty long. It was almost touching the ground where the grass is. And behold, every station became clear with almost no interference, and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting here. It just fell down the balcony, and it's actually working the best I've ever seen any antenna work out in the front yard. So I was like, okay. And I listened really clearly. Suddenly, 5800 was perfect, and 7780 with Paul Walker's show was coming in really clear. Radio New Zealand 13840 was fantastic. And I thought, okay, so I have to just drop it off the three stories of the balcony to have a clear reception and plug it to the receiver. So it was just funny. But it actually was nice because it also gave me the idea that, wow, doing this, I can actually do radio on the front balcony, really. So this is nice. And I think that, accidents sometimes, some of the best discoveries in the world have actually happened by accident. Well, I had a nice discovery by accident by dropping the antenna, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Because I don't have access to my MLA30, which is there because the wire goes inside, but I forgot that when I put the multicoupler, I could have, when I put the air conditioning, I could have sneaked out a wire that would be on the balcony just for that use that I put on the multicoupler. But I thought about it after the air conditioning was in the window, and I was like, I ain't gonna touch that baby again because that thing is like 70 pounds, and it's fine right now where it is. But it gave me an idea that eventually that's something I could do. PA1 SBM Alex, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. Steve Miller, nice to have you here. Rob, nice to have you on board from Phoenix, Arizona. That's too hot for me at 111 Fahrenheit. iMapper, nice to have you on board from Moscow, Russia. Frank Tillman, good afternoon. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, no questions are bad questions. Absolutely. Robert Cross, nice to have you on board. Derek, it may sound silly, but what format is slightly wider in bandwidth than CW but narrower than RTTY? Been getting just garbage, and FLDJ seems to be around 20 hertz wide. What frequency? Because it depends what you're actually getting on and where. What is it? An amateur bands? Because there's a lot of different things. There's the PSK31, which is very narrow, around 14070. PSK31, for example, and there's a lot of PSK31 around the AM bands. That's very narrow, and you will usually it sounds almost only like a little tone that has a little wobble in it, and that is pretty narrow. And there's a lot of stuff, different stuff in the ham bands, Olivia, and so on. M&K, any input on the shortwave antenna inside house? It's difficult to catch using a Sony 7600J R, relying on just on a long wire hooked from the terrace. The MLA30 loop that we talk about here is probably your best bet if you have a lot of noise. It helps so many people finally get back into decent shortwave listening. MLA30, and you can buy it on eBay on the price roughly around 40-ish US dollar. And it's a great antenna. Brian Penny, nice to have you here from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Frank, work at a local college. We deal with bed bugs every year. Yeah. Here it's since there's some new neighbors that it's happening. The antenna I'm using that's here in the background is the MLA30, and it's connected to my multi-coupler, so I can share it up to 4 radios. Yeah, not all air conditioning make interference. It depends on the brand. It depends on the air conditioning. So Rob said, feels good to get rid of junk and garbage. Yeah, one of the things that was so funny because, we have things we keep that there's kind of nostalgic a little bit. And by the way, guys, I'm 30 minutes behind in the chat room. I'm going to try to catch up. And it's when I had my electronics course, I still have all the books and all the, all the circuit boards and stuff that I made that I played with. And I was telling a friend of mine, it's like, this is nice, He looked at me and said, when's the last time you actually took this out and did something? I said, well, pretty much when I finished my electronics course in 2001. He said, so you haven't touched it in 20 years and you want to keep it? That thing, you got to get rid of it. Put it outside, just right on the box, electronics course and circuit boards, and have somebody take it for free and go away with it. You don't need that anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Derek says, I do have to use AM high pass filter, strong AM stations 10 miles away, as habit of bleeding across the spectrum. So yeah, sometimes when we are too close to some of the broadcast stations. Joe Tyson, nice to have you here from Apex, North Carolina, KM4WRQ, Skip, and 2EI. Nice to have you here from Southern New Jersey. Command Z 1976, nice to have you on board. John Ritson, nice to have you here from the UK, 2E0J GR. Mobile Armored Strike Command, all my wires are identified and properly routed, like I route wires and cables inside of airplanes. Yeah, well, you have that, that habit because you have to route stuff. So you got that habit of, well, things need to be neatly routed in a certain way. Here is, I just dumped the wire and behind the furniture, and what do you know? You had dumped 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 wires behind the furniture. Vicky Pelletier, salut. Oui, je vais avoir besoin de beaucoup de courage. Alors, envoie des ondes positives, s'il te plaît. Nice to have you on board, Vicky. SWL Fulvio Radio Operator. Nice to have you here from Italy. Simplio, nice to have you on board. Says Sporadic Ewa is not very sporadic today. It is ongoing on 11 meters. Yeah, sometimes it lasts for hours. Skip did this old shack over in IKEA. So, I'm looking at what I'm gonna check. The reason, since I don't have a car, of course, having everything sent over is the best thing for me. So that's why I kind of shop Amazon a lot, because I just look at what they have, and they have an amazing amount of stuff. And I just click and, okay, buy. I'm going to buy this, buy that. Yes, I did see the ATS-25 PLF radio, which looks very interesting. I found one on eBay. It would come to about 175 Canadian. I was so tempted to do the buy button, but then I thought, look, you're going to spend a lot of money reorganizing your home. Relax on the radio a little bit. Kevin, nice to have you here, says, I thought you were off live for a while. Hello from New Jersey Shore. WS2H. Yeah, I will be for 4 weeks now after this show. Robert Cross, have you upgraded your computer Windows 11? Well, yeah, this one is running Windows 11, the one with the SDR here. Neil Rigby, nice to have you here from the UK. Abassine Podcast, nice to have you here from Toronto. Robert Osborne from Niagara Falls. And what do we have? RJDA Dakota, maps are great, but a good globe is better. Maps exaggerated a lot. Yeah, but I like the fact that you can see everything. The globe, the globe I have here is nice, but there's something I like about the fact that you could see everything. Frank, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. What else do we have? Mobile Armor Strike Command. Another poster to hang. Frequency allocation chart. Yeah, that'd be nice. Some radio stuff. Actually, I've got 2 of them. I could use the Texan map that came with my radios. That would be nice. And put the Texan receiver face on the other one. That'd be interesting. I just thought about something here. PLF Radio, yep, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing in July. So wish me luck. I'm going to need luck. N6 RLS, have you considered one of those Geochron digital Atlas 4KU? Yeah, I've seen that. They're kind of expensive, though. They're very, very, very beautiful. But they're a little expensive, I find. But that absolutely is visually extremely cool. Totally. I've seen a few, and it's like, wow. Dimitri, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Dennis. I'm thinking the old videos will be getting a lot more views. What else do we have? Yes, Sunpleo, Windows 11 is available on the dev channel for insiders. It is here on this machine, and some people have installed it. Absolutely. It's just not officially released as an official Windows 11. It won't be before Christmas or even beginning of next year. Matt, MDK2, nice to have you on board. No problem. Torben, nice to have you here from Norway. Chastank, nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. We have Dean Hintz, nice to have you here. Dean from Georgia. TVDXer, are you going to install a mini fridge under your new desk for your beverages? Yeah, that would be nice. a desk for my a little fridge for my beverages in the office design. Edward Turner, nice to have you here. WD8NJR. So, yep, some Shack news, pretty much. Blind Picker, nice to have you here, Rob. W0RAB in Connecticut. Eye patch, yeah, it's a new product. It helps you sleep. Carol, nice to have you here, Carol. I must try Petit, which is a nice Syrah wine. Okay, check that out. 3830 Radio Man, nice to have you on board. Heard WWV on 20 last night, 11 p.m. Pretty cool. It's that's eSkip for you. eSkip does these weird things where you hear it in the middle of the night. So it's kind of funny. Tom DXer, nice to have you here. WPE2QED from the Hudson Valley, New York. Yeah, I'm catching up, guys. PLF Radio likes videos where I show older radios compared with more modern radios. There's going to be more of that, that's for sure. KC8TBY, nice to have you here from Grand Rapids. Paul sometimes hears WWV and 25 into Michigan. Here's mostly a winter thing, but anything can happen. Let's check it out just now, just out of curiosity. 25. Anything on 25? This is... That's 25. That's 20. Oh, wait. I wasn't set up right. So 25. 20. 15. Even 15 is not, it's very weak at this time. So it's not the best. Not the best right now. KW1161, nice to have you on board from a hot and muggy Tucson, Arizona. Michael, nice to have you here from Berlin in Germany. Nice to have you here from Berlin. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What do we have? Device 9, I heard some of that on 5800 yesterday. That was a European pirate. Yeah, every Friday. So it's in it's something that's happening with kind of a feature with Texas Radio Shortwave. They every Friday night North America time. That's 02 UTC Saturday. So it's 10 p.m. Eastern. On 5800 from 10 to 11, they have a 1 hour Euro pirate. And every week it's a different pirate. And this is going on until late August. So it's makes for some really interesting listening. So yesterday was radio. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what the radio station it was. But anyways, every week is a different pirate that you will have on Friday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern, 02 UTC on 5800 via WRMI. VT radio, okay. Charles Williams, does SDR console work well with RSPDX? Yep, I've used it a few times. SDR console does work with RSPDX. Works well. If you like that rather than SDR, no, it works well. John Ritson, the airgun antennas as well as suited for the size of its limit overload on most receivers, as sometimes long wire is too long. Yeah, and a lot of long wires is a lot of long wires is picking up so much noise. Chest Tank, that's how microwaves were discovered by accident. Yep. KC8TBY says, I just picked up a broomstick shortwave antenna off eBay. Be trying it out tonight. I have no access to an outdoor antenna, so hopefully hanging this near my window. Try it. It's the best thing you can do is to try different stuff. Unfortunately, the noise level is crazy, and we've got to try what we can to make things better, honestly. There's, it's crazy times. I'm going to check something here. Yeah, if I can find the right side of my tablet. Let's see if I think we can maybe try a. So let's go here. I'm just going to check Preom. I think there's a PRI, preom.org. So here, yeah, M12 in 2 minutes. If you guys want to try it, 10767 CW. 10767 CW or 10766 upper sideband for those that don't have CW on their radios. You might hear, we do this, we might hear some Morse code in a couple of minutes coming out of Moscow, Russia. It's the M12 number station. You can also try 16180, which is HM01, the Cuban spy number. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes for that. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here from the Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Brad and Amarillo, nice to have you on board. Been shoving the mower around. Time for a break for the Shortwave channel. Cool. Terry Cook, nice to have you here from Western Montana, KF7BQ. Art, nice to have you here, KE2ADC in New Jersey. Frank, to get a good placement for my MLA30, I have to add an extension of 5 meters. Does that give problems? Nope. The antenna will work fine, even if it's 5 meters, even if you have to extend. What comes out of the amplifier, even if you add more length of wire, in general, it shouldn't be too bad. So you got to do the what you can, depending on where you are. Charlie W8CFO says, often listen on my desk using my CR1A receiver. Here it goes, guys. Look at that. M12 10767 CW or 10766 upper sideband. I'm hearing it here from the Texan PL990X plugged to the MLA30 loop. Or you're probably going to see it here. So you could see the trace here on the SDR. That's the Morse code of the M12 number station from Moscow, Russia. So if you guys want to try it. 10767 CW or 10766 upper sideband. Okay, Derek, the signal around 10060. Remember that there's a lot of encrypted stuff that you just can't decode because they're encrypted. Joel Dude, thinking of an MLA30 since can't mount anything outside. I think it's your best chance of getting some reception. David in Barcelona, Spain. ¿Cómo está mi amigo? Nice to have you on board. Dwayne, nice to have you on board from Paris, Illinois. What do we have? Comanxi76, enjoy your time off show. We all need time to recharge our batteries. Yeah, it's more going to be a work thing, but, Oh, really? There's a Pi version of the Geocron? Well, maybe that could be a fun project to do yourself. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Now that you mention it, I seem to have seen that somewhere. I'm going to check it out. Richard 2E0FJJ, nice to have you on board. Wow, is it already over? They didn't have anything to say? I would guess. Whoops. I guess no message for the spies today. Jim Withy, nice to have you here from Ireland, EI3HCB. Robert, nice to have you here from Washington. My kids gave me a Yaesu FT-Y91 for Father's Day. If I set up my shack in the same room as my Wi-Fi router, will it cause interference with my Wi-Fi? It shouldn't. Honestly, if it's well installed and that your cables are well shielded, you should not have problems. Normally, if you have all shielded cables going out of a room, like here, for example, this room is really a intense interference room. Not counting that actually down here, so where I'm sitting, I'm still not there, but where my desk is, where my big corner desk is, just below, it's the all the electric boxes, the counters from Hydro-Quebec. They're all there in a room under there. So I'm probably at the worst noisy place possible here. And, you know, if I put the MLA30 that I have outside, the shielded cables coming in, it actually is fine. I can do some radio listening. It's really a question of really being set up well and having good quality shielded cables for your radios or transceivers. William Hampton, nice to have you on board from Grove City, Ohio. Gerd, nice to have you here. PA3 GPU. Pretty cool. We have Charlie, W8CFO, and grandson who works for Microsoft is working to fix bugs in Windows 11. Cool. Dimitri, Gilles, a question for you. If you have at home computer with Windows 10, should I need to upgrade to Windows 11 or wait when Microsoft will officially release to the market? I would not recommend anybody go to the dev channel unless they are ready to really, they can easily reinstall or anything, because it's test software right now. It's in the dev channel insiders because it's being tested. I personally would not recommend moving on to that. Unless, you know, for the fun of it with a spare computer, that could be fun, but not on your main machines. You know, I'm here because I got a Windows Insider fan page YouTube channel. That's why that is installed there. Plus, my main Windows or technology channel, I talk about Windows. So having Windows 11 from time to time, I can show stuff. But you know, that's because that's my work. What do we have? Do we have PLF Radio says he hears 767 with the XH data. Device 9 says can hear Cuba but not Moscow. Mark Elford, nice to have you on board from Vancouver Island. Got coast to coast KRZR 1400 on my 1917 Crystal radio with cat whiskers. Godar 1000X antenna, 1800 kilometers from me, clear as a bell. Wow, that's impressive, especially for a crystal radio. Artist Ali Croucher's Kitchen just got home from seeing Black Widow on the porch, listening to the RF 2200 and watching on the phone. Cool. Red Guardian makes me miss the Cold War, comrades. William Helms, nice to have you on board from Florida. Frank is hearing 10767. Mika Dalmage, 10767, booming into central Alberta. By the way, I worked all 13 colonies like last week. Time to get the QSLs. Congratulations. Derek can't pick up 10767 here, probably too far away. There's a lot of, a lot of not receiving has to do with also a lot of the noise level around this also. I can tell you. Christian Fitzharris says no luck in Ohio. Michael Thompson, buy a big bag of ferrite clips. Yep. W7HU, Alex, nice to have you on board from Miami, Florida. Nice to have you here. Sunpleo says, woman sounds pretty. Sounds pretty. Calling CQ, QSO party on 14310 upper sideband. Frank, thanks, Jill. I want to move my MLA 30 to the back of my garden. I couldn't receive a pirate station on 5970 with my Kenwood on MLA 30, but with my Texan PL230 with its own antenna, I heard it. Yeah, you got to change the positioning. There's something very interesting that that I found last, which made me start thinking of something. So the backyard here is, of course, a shared backyard. Everybody has access to the backyard. But I never really go to the backyard much, really. When I say the backyard, I mean downstairs in the backyard, in the grass. And a couple of weeks ago, I was downstairs with a portable radio, and I started tuning around from that place, which I thought would be horrible and tons of noise. And I was surprised at how well I was receiving, which started make me think of taking one of the MLA 30s that I have here that isn't used, putting it on the fence down in the backyard, way back in the middle. But I would, of course, need to extend that cable longer in order for me to have the possibility to connect to the antenna. But it started to make me think, wow, this is interesting. Maybe an MLA 30 down here would be even better than what I have in the balcony. So I'm starting to think, what could I do? How should I do it? And I got to say, I was looking at, a lot of different possibilities of how I would bring the wire up and so on. Michael Thompson says worked almost all of the 13th on FT8. Treston, 14 megahertz, pretty lively this evening. Sounds like a contest is going on. Good all-around reception in Newfoundland. Cool. Jeff in New Hampshire says, do you have a favorite ham band to listen to? I'm partial to 80. It'll depend. It'll depend on what time of day. And I will say that my favorite, if propagation works, my favorite ham band to go and tune around is 10 meters. When it's open, I love tuning around 10 meters. 15, not bad also. But 20 meters is a great band that I tune quite regularly because there's a lot of great DX there. And especially in the summertime like now, it has a lot of the signals coming over the North Pole from Europe in the evening. So we get a lot of great DX even in the evening, which is fun. I can't, the more I talk about it, the more I would say I don't necessarily have a favorite ham band. My favorite ham band is probably the one that's active at the moment I want to listen in. 40 meters is kind of cool. There's a lot of nice DX. Last winter, I still remember that guy from South Africa I was hearing all the time. Each band has its unique little thing. It's unique fun. And so every band is like, I have a hard time kind of pinpointing one. If it's like if you would tell me, is there a international broadcast band you prefer of all of them? And I would probably just say my favorite will be the one that is the most active while I turn on the radio. And it all depends what you want to do also, Uh, what else do we have? What else do we have? David KJ4CMY says, just got his QSL card from W1AW this afternoon. This was the only time I've heard them. Cool. Cool. Estrella Garcia, nice to have you here, Estrella. So there's something I want to talk about today. I in the 4 weeks that I will be of course reorganizing my office. It's something that's been asked a lot by you guys over years. It's something that I've been thinking a lot, but I haven't come around to really doing anything about it. And of course, that now that I'm reorganizing everything, and also hearing all the stuff that happens on the different stations like WRMI. When I come back in 4 weeks, I will have had created a new PayPal for a very specific purpose. That PayPal will be, the donations going there will be to pay for airtime over shortwave outlets. So when I come back in 4 weeks, I'll give the PayPal out. I'll also, in that 4 weeks, I am going to go through WTWW, WWCR, WRMI, but I don't want to stop there. I have an ambition, kind of a goal. My show that I would do for the broadcast, I wanted to also at the same time be a fun target to listen to. Meaning, 1 week it might be airtime on WRMI, but I have the crazy idea of actually asking for prices for renting time, say, the Radio Austria relay station in Moosbrunn, Austria. That other one in, what is it? It's been used a few times. There's one, not Moldova, but one of those places over there. So the idea behind this is I want to have a show that is on different outlets to have different DX targets to it. And that's an idea that came up to me that makes it kind of original. But of course, that costs money. Every transmitter site costs money, and there's different amounts of money depending on where you go. So it could be, on WRMI, on WTWW, and on WWCR. But I'm thinking of anywhere else around the world that I would be able to rent, say, an hour of airtime. As crazy as it may sound, asking, can I rent 1 hour off of Madagascar Relay? Can I rent 1 hour off? A lot of these are probably not possible for just one transmission. But I tend to think that some of them are going to say, yeah, you can rent an hour if you want. So it'd be the fun of, okay, I have this show this week, and we're transmitting from Wolverton, UK. Or next week, we're going to be transmitting it from the Bulgaria transmitter site. Next week from WRMI. Would be going around different transmitter sites. So that's one of the crazy ideas I've got, which I have no idea up to what point I can actually do that. But at the same time, what that would be is I would go and ask for support, and that money would go to pay airtime wherever I'm going to broadcast from. So I don't know what you guys think. It would be a unique program that I would be doing for that. And that unique program would actually um, have an EQSL, but the EQSL would be attached to whatever transmitter site. So depending on what transmitter site you hear the broadcast, you could get an EQSL, but it would mention and have something on it that would show the where it's from, for a picture of the transmitter site, for example, or whatever. And it would be a shortwave. There would not be any music on it. There would be talk. I would obviously have some stuff to talk about. There would be all sorts of things. It could be talking about an old station and having interval signals and a few clips and having history of stations and all sorts of things. I have like a million ideas in my head, but this is a crazy thing that I would like to have up and running sometime, maybe this fall or at the latest this winter. But all of that is more details going to come up as we go into when I come back in August. And it would be kind of interesting to check that out, try different transmitter sites. Because one of the fun that I have on shortwave is DXing. And a lot of you are in that mode too. I love having relay of, some having relays of some shows via WRMI. It's really, really kind of cool. It's really, really kind of cool. But my fun would be, how about a one or several, I don't know how it could be done depending on the time and all. Well, I would announce, okay, this coming week we'll have a transmission off of the Austria relay, and it's directed to Europe and North America, for example. And so it would be chosen at a time and frequency that would propagate here, that is possible to hear. It would make it a DX fun at the same time as listening to my show that I would be creating for that. And we would move around to different, if I can have anything in Asia or the Pacific region to broadcast, there would be a revolving, schedule of different transmitter sites with the program on. So depending on how much it costs, of course, I'll dish some of the official shortwave channel money in it, but also depending on the donations or what you guys might give for that, we would arrange for regular transmissions to happen with a program. So I don't know what you guys think, but this is my crazy idea right now that I'm trying to work with. Of course, one of the things will be to contact everybody, ask for prices and how this could be done, and so see how we can arrange something. What else do we have? Thomas Skitz, nice to have you on board. Tom and Susie, nice to have you on board. And love that T-shirt, CKUT 90.3. I don't know if I can show you guys. So I have the other kitty that comes in, the stray cat, which is not technically a stray cat, but just want to show you guys a picture of a little something that happened this afternoon. So stray cat and Paul have a hard time together most of the time, but this afternoon they had a sweet moment in the back balcony sleeping together. So that was about I don't know, 3 hours ago. I go in the back, I look, and they're all both sleeping there, and I'm like, wow, okay. So yeah, so yes, I will consider all of them. Channel 292 for Europe, Warferton UK, Essendon France if they do, you know, if they do rent to a little, one broadcast from time to time. There would be some U.S. outlets, of course. All the big U.S. outlets would be used, even maybe WBCQ, who knows. And I'd go around and check out. Okay, is there a possibility to rent? How much and how would that be done? So I think it would be really really a lot of fun. I know Channel 292 is very open. We had for those that have been there for a while, we had Stephen Cooper in the UK that had helped out in creating a my live show to be actually broadcast on Channel 292 a couple of times, which was a lot of fun. Franco AC, nice to have you on board. And thank you for the good luck. I will need good luck for the renovations, that's for sure. So, I think it'd be fun. William Helms, that's a good idea. Left to see if it will work. Yeah, it would be fun. It would definitely be fun. PLF Radio is receiving 14877 RTTY, which is also from Russia. Franco AC has been receiving some SATCOM pirates loud and clear on UHF today. Dimitri, what is your favorite Cold War radio stations are? I miss, if we talk about, Cold War era radio, I miss Radio Moscow. There's something about it that was kind of fun. I think most people that listen to shortwave back in, whether you were in the US or whatever, Western countries and so on, I don't think that many people hated Radio Moscow. It was one of the things that you tuned in on shortwave at times. And Radio Berlin International, stuff like that. The ones that were kind of soft, kind of fun. David in Barcelona, EA3IEK, EA4998URESWL says, yesterday I had a pretty big opening in the lower VHF bands, made EU QSOs, 4 meters, 70 megahertz for the first time, and also worked in a US station on 6 meters for the first time. This is cool. That is cool. So, Chastank, imagine renting and broadcasting in the Rodina, Mother Russia, and playing Moscow Nights. I mean, might freak some folks out. I'm going to write in and say, can I use one of your number station transmitters to broadcast some shows? Thomas Kitt says you would most likely get a bigger audience from other areas or people in different countries. Sunpleo says, have a radiogram too. Yeah, mix in all sorts of different little things. I know it's kind of in and kind of cool for a lot of people to have, pictures or stuff sent out through. That could be fun. But it's this is good. This could be really a lot of fun, I think. Derek says he likes listening to WWTW or WTWW. It's like WWTW. It's WTWW. Wow, I'm all mixed up now. WT. With their mix of musics. Yeah, and you can go to WTWW.us and actually go and ask for your favorite songs to be played. David says, Jill, that'd be great. I'd certainly love to listen to content by you from one of the transmitter sites here in EU. Though, even if it was from WRMI, I'm sure I'd received fine, just like I did with Global 24. I would also try to work a schedule that I know would make the maximum impact of propagation. So if I can have one, if you have one, from a certain target area, what frequency can I use, and what time to maximize the possibility that both Europe and North America and a maximum amount of people around the world can listen to it. But it could be an interesting thing. But it will need some work. I need to contact a lot of people to see how exactly should this be done, how much it's going to cost depending on where you are. Of course, the cost goes also with the amount of power used and so on. So it's going to be nice. Yeah, I'd have a EQSL card. I would not have a printed QSL. It's too costly today to send out paper stuff. But the EQSL, I would have my own EQSL, and it would be different depending on the transmitter side and so on. TV DXer likes the idea. Frank, sounds interesting. Mad Radio DXer UK, it's not crazy. It is a great idea. I do want you to have your own radio show on shortwave. You deserve it. So, we're gonna check that out for sure. Yeah, the cats. There's a beautiful picture. Yeah, WBCQ is the main tube for their super station has split in half. It's yeah. Hey, Rekray, nice to have you on board from Turkey. It's a French name called Mignon, William Helms. Mignon. Which means kind of cutie, if you want. Well, Kamagzi 76, actually, Paul smacks the stray cat all the time. But I noticed that when they're outside, the more relaxed. So I think it's mostly because he doesn't like her to be inside, because he probably feels kind of threatened because it's his territory. But when they're outside, even Paul the cat often goes near her. It's funny when you look at it. You're like, well, they're actually friends when they're outside. It's really when they get in the house that it kind of gets complicated. So, Tom DX are sharing the Moscow nights in case you guys miss it when I'm not here for 4 weeks. Oh, man. So, yep, channel 292 has 3 frequencies now. Absolutely. So, this could be a lot of fun. Archer's Autocrafter's Kitchen. WCBCQ Super Transmitter is going to be listed in WRTH as permanently broken. Yeah, I know they're looking for a tube that's like $100,000 and is made in France, apparently. Thomas Kitts says, I ran out a bit ago and found a thing on an abandoned radio station from the 90s. It said something on it is still transmitting. What are up north in Michigan? How can that still transmit? Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to. I would be curious to see what it is. Archer's Autocrafter's Kitchen is missing Radio Berlin International. Listening to it made me want to jump to Berlin Wall. Life in Eastern Germany. Robert Osborne, picking up CHU Canada on 7850, loud and clear. Almost never receive it clearly. Cool. That's one you got to try regularly. That's how it is. That sometimes you get it. Same here. 7850 is a from time to time. I get something, but you got to try it regularly. Tony, greetings from Ireland. Radio Moscow was a Cold War station that sticks in the memory. I used to think it was strange their news readers had North American accents while reading the U.S. government. Yeah, they wanted. It's like China Radio International today, which sounds more North American than it sounds Chinese as a station. RJDA Dakota, Radio Moscow, I never used to give them much a thought, but I do miss Radio Moscow. I liked Moscow Mailbag and had an interesting take on the news. It was kind of interesting to check out, David, if one day I'm listening to the buzzer on 4625 and it stops and I suddenly hear your voice in there, I can assume I'm going to fall out of my chair. Imagine the buzzer stops and it's like, welcome to the official Shortwave channel, Shortwave show. And before we start, I just want to say all the bombs are going to be falling at 18 hours UTC. Let's enjoy. Tony says, and saying things like President Reagan, yeah, one of the Moscow mailbags we had a couple of weeks on the show where they talk about how, it seems so much how the U.S. is that big, scary country trying to get war and that the USSR is trying to get peace. And it's like, yeah, okay. That's kind of interesting. Log 2112, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Just going to check out here. Tristan says, John, Shortwave sounds like a great idea. Could you put up the live stream on air or would you have pre-recorded? No, I do a pre-recorded show, which would be more easier on the ears for everybody because I can edit all the bad things that come out of my mouth and all edit nice and clean for, I'm thinking of a 1 hour show. So, have all the, have a clean show that would be there. David would love to have a physical QSL in the mail. Ronald Klons, nice to have you here from Northeast Illinois. Thomas Kitts says, when my hubby works on stereos in his radio room and our cat has to be right in the middle of his work. Device 9, does Cuba even have a DX show anymore? Maybe you could be the Arnie Coro for this century. Yeah, he's since Arnie Coro got sick, I haven't heard DXers Unlimited anymore. It's one of those shows that has gone since he's been sick, unfortunately. Oh yeah, DX house is his house, that's for sure. Like 2112, Moscow Nights should be the sign-off theme for this channel. It fits perfectly. Wing Wong, just got a Realistic Pro 2005. What antenna do I need? Depends what you want to listen to. But start with, start with anything. You can even try with a rabbit ears on the VHF UHF range. But if you want to have an antenna outside, a discount is a good antenna. But because it's a tabletop model, so depending what you want to listen to, you can get one of those telescopics that actually fit on the, because I don't know, the Pro 2005 should have a hole where you can screw in a telescopic on top. I don't know if you have that with it. If you don't, then you can buy, because it's a BNC in the back, you can buy a telescopic VHF UHF antenna with BNC connector that would fit there. Hey, Matt, take care, stay safe, and see you in 4 weeks on August 11th. Next show. Shanghai with Team Soviet military star on it. Oh man. Doug Smith, I know you like the Sangean ATS 505, but isn't the less expensive 405 the same basic thing internally without SSB? It's I don't know how close they are have in performance and in the internal circuitry. But they're not that far in price. So if you get a 505, you get SSB anyways, which is kind of nice. But I don't know. I mean, if you buy one of them new, I would buy something else. I would probably buy a Texan or something like that. It depends how easy it is for you to get it. Haven't seen podcasts. It's a great idea, Joe. A program on shortwave about shortwave listening. So yeah, why not? Hey, that's the fun things. Yeah, RJ88 Dakota, but on shortwave, we want to have the exotic stuff. We want to have China sound like Chinese people. Dewey Bertolini, do you have an opinion on the Belka DX? Well, everybody that has one seems to love it. So it seems to be a good radio, but I don't have an opinion of being able to, being able to use it and try it. So I don't have an opinion of actual testing myself, but people that have it seem to like it. Nice to have you here. Wing Wong from Quebec. Like 2112. No beauty thing about shortwave. We don't listen because of politics or opinion. We listen because it's a matter of where they are, supposed to where we are. Trying majority of this world never gets an opportunity to hear what we hear. Yeah, we had a comment with that, which is in the International Radio Report show that I think represents well what we are. And we were talking about how we think that there's shortwave listeners. And I do think it is true. I think shortwave listeners over that been listening for such a long time and we heard stations from the Cold War era from all around the world. I tend to think we are more open-minded to the world around us because we've heard a lot of different stations, a lot of different countries giving us their point of view, the way that they think about the world. And it has an impact. I think it has an impact to it's makes us reflect, makes us think about, in a different way about world events and makes you think sometimes. Maybe it makes you question even your own, one of the things I said is, when we were talking about that is how sometimes you'll hear a station from another country, for example, talk about Canada or an event in Canada. And of course, here we have the Canadian viewpoint all the time. But then you'll have that country talk about the same event, and it's going to make you think. It's like, I didn't think about that side of things, because sometimes our own country's news is kind of biased towards a certain point. And you'll hear another station from another country have their point of view. And you're going to think, I didn't think of things like that, because the reason I didn't think of things like that is that here we're shoving a point of view in a certain way that is kind of, a brainwash. But shortwave gave us the opportunity to take the brainwashing of our own networks and our own news in our country, but mix it up with what the opinions of others were, and kind of be able to just get off of being stuck in one, a narrow-minded way of thinking, and be a little more open about all sorts of things around the world. And I think shortwave listeners are more, especially us that lived through the Cold War and all of that, I think we would be more open-minded to a lot of things around the world, because we heard so many different viewpoints of and opinions, and we take some. We have others that it's like, yeah, right. This is blatant. This is just, whatever, Canada or Western country bashing. Sometimes it's, oh, yeah, okay. I never thought of this like this. I think it made us think differently about the world around us. I think really shortwave is amazing for that, because it makes us think differently. Million Chip 2, I splurged on the Hanrongda HRD 747. Shortwave is great on this version of the radio. One thing I noticed is, while SSB comes in fine, voice on the USB is slightly more high-pitched than the D808. So, and no fine-tuning to bring it down natural voice. Huh. So you got the new one, the one with SSB. That's interesting. Christian Marcoux, does the idea of clip-on ferrite ring core RFI EMI noise suppressor cable clip really work? It does help. It does help. But the best is those chokes, that if you can actually have a couple of turns of that cable within the chokes, that works even better in removing the noise. Arthur's Island Crafter's Kitchen, between his crazy politics and transmitters constantly breaking, Alan Wiener knows how to spend cash to drive listeners away. More money than brains. Yeah. The guy's weird, and anybody that's met him knows that he's one hell of a weird guy. But I lost respect for Alan Wiener and WBCQ kind of a lot when I was listening regularly on, at first, the first year and a half that I was listening to the Alan Wiener Worldwide thing live on Friday evening, it was kind of cool. And as time went by, it became more and more bizarre. It was more and more, oh, I'm here with my sexy wife, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is a shortwave show. I don't give a. And so more and more was that. And more of his Alan Wiener's Worldwide show became, oh, well, this is that. And the one that I had that turned me off totally is one night he started ranting at, Canada and our social programs and stuff. And he blurted out something like, anyways, we're going to stop talking about the communist country of Canada. And I was like, what did you just say? First of all, it's a big insult that you just gave out. And you might have your opinion on what social programs are or not. It's fine. And, we have our way of thinking. You have your way of thinking. But you can talk about it quickly and not insult all Canadians at one, with one phrase. And that night, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of listening to this guy. And if I would do a shortwave show, WBCQ is probably the last place I want to spend money in airtime. And part of it has to do with that. Because, before all of that, and when it was more of a mainstream, let's talk about our transmitters and our ideas and shortwave and blah, blah, Okay, cool. I'll be fair also. I have a hard time spending if I have money to spend on shortwave outlets, I have a hard time spending my money on anyone that actually plays, Brother Stare crap. I mean, I always had a hard time with any station that played Brother Stare crap. And the only station on shortwave in the US that does not play Brother Stare crap and never did is WTWW. And they must have been approached, and they must have, had somebody come up to them and say, "Hey, we got this pile of money here if you want to broadcast Brother Stare." I'd be interested in knowing if they were approached, and I'm pretty sure they were, because they approached every shortwave outlet in the US. And the only one that resisted to the amounts of cash from Brother Stare is WTWW. Makes me think. You want to spend on a US outlet, WTWW might be an interesting one if it has the coverage you need at a certain time. I might be more inclined to pay for them than to pay for any other ones. I like WRMI, but they do accept the the cash from that. I understand money is money, but it's also something you got to think. Accepting money against some broadcast that we know is very troublesome when you start looking at deeper in what it is. It's kind of I don't know. I know money is money, and I know money talks. I'm not crazy. I'm not stupid. I totally know that, but I don't know. Hey, Glenn, nice to have you on board. Scott Belcher, nice to have you on board. Says very true and interesting, and great way to look at it. SoCal, nice to have you here from California. AJ6II or LL. It's II because they're mad. They're yeah. Sorry, I always mix up because of the uppercase. It's AJ6II. Franco AC. Be great to hear you on shortwave. Not sure if the AM shortwave station from Germany allows hosts to present shows. I'm sure Peter from Long in the Tube TV does some work there. I'm located Wing Wong in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. William Helms, 300 home TV ribbon, basic but effective, easy to build and set up. Yankee Clipper, shortwave listening is one of my favorite things to do while camping. Unfortunately, my K2K A1103 has bit the dust. Do you have any recommendations for a portable radio or comparable radio? If muting when you tune around is driving you crazy, then I would say go to a Texan PL 660, 680, which is a great replacement for it and similar performance. If muting while tuning around is not a problem because that's not how you tune signals, a Texan PL 330 is an amazing bang for the buck receiver. Yeah, we're in communist Canada apparently. It was crazy. I remember I heard that. I was like, communist Canada. Okay, that's interesting. RJDA Dakota, yep, PL330 and XH Data D808 also, absolutely. Yeah, communist Canada. I live in the communist country of Canada, apparently. According to him, he was like, I remember he said that phrase, and I was like, what the hell did you just say? You just insulted some of your listeners, actually. This is crazy. You want to have you want to have a shortwave broadcast, maybe you should be a little more relaxed. KC8TVY, congratulations on the WTWW for having the moral fiber and backbone of choosing wisely as to who they broadcast and why they do so. Yep. I think about that. If I would rent airtime on a station in the US, my first choice would probably be WTWW because of that. It's crazy, but what you broadcast has an impact on why somebody would spend money on your station also. But Stare has so much money that, a lot of them, I'm not a religious guy and I don't listen to any of that. But my idea of, because WWCR, Worldwide Christian Radio. I mean, come on, they are obviously very clearly a station dedicated to Christianity in some way. And that's fine. My problem is not that you're broadcasting the word of God. That's not where I have a problem. Where I have a problem is whose word of God exactly? And Brother Stare is the perfect example of that should never have been on the air. And, all the stories of rape and whatever, come on. So what happens is that my morality as a person, even though I'm not, like I said, I'm not listening to any of those stations that broadcast anything from, that's religious. If I'd own a station dedicated to the word of God, for me, there's a conflict in here of you accepting what is, in my opinion, very dirty money for the sake of making money. And that, if we want to go further, has nothing to do with what the word of God and Christianity and all of that is. That's where my opinion lies. It's, it's something we got to think about. What else do we have? Yeah, well, a lot of the stations in that area, like there's WWCR and so on. So WWCR, of course, and there's even WBCQ is on 5130, I think, from time to time. They are they have a lot of Stare stuff. M1 MBZ, fully intend to make my Texan PL330 with me camping later this year. See how it fares in the relative isolation of West Wales. I think it's going to be a fun thing. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that. RGA Dakota, do like WTWW on 5085. They seem a lot more diverse than you. They are very diverse. WTWW is not only religious broadcast. There are some, but WTWW has ham radio. There's that ham radio show on Wednesday. They have another one which is radio related that I always forget the name. If you listen to WTWW every night, especially on 5085, they have a diversity of programming. And there's a lot of stuff for radio listeners and ham radio operators. I've noted that quite a lot. So there's some stuff there for sure. Canadian Radio TV guy, arriving late. Been helping my parents to put up Toshiba 39-inch TV in a bedroom using the stream as test subjects. My parents say, Hi, but they have no clue what you're rambling on about. Oh well, that's normal. That's normal. And I say hi to them back. Oh man. But yes, WTWW does have quite a lot of different stuff there. You know, summer is a harder time for me. 5085 from WTWW doesn't come in as well on 50 on that frequency in the summer. It's more of it comes in better in the winter. So Chaz Tank, Communist Canada, maybe he heard Moscow Nights played. You now know why I play Moscow Nights, because I am in the how do they call it? The People's Republic. That's interesting. My laptop just shut down. We're in the People's Republic of Communist Canada. We are the People's Republic. This always marked my brain. Every time you have a communist country, and they're always, this is the People's Republic of whatever. And you're like, yeah, so all the People's Republic of something are all communist. Or very, very heavy on control of the population. You just look at that and you're like, yeah. Here we go. So, oh yeah, 9940 is also one of the new frequencies they're using. 9940. Actually, I think part of the 5085 times is actually 9940 now. That's true. That's true. It's it's interesting. I have no problem with all sorts of very eclectic programming. Um, it's all sorts of it attracts different listeners, and it is something that keeps the station alive, is having different types of things to talk about, and it's just Simplio says 15770, not so good. TV guy says, speaking of WBCQ, I think Alan Wiener, oh yeah, he mentioned several times that Brother Stair was a good friend. And you're like, that is even scarier. It's like, yeah, okay. I was about to say something really bad, and I just at the last minute stopped. Scott Belcher says, I'm religious, but I hate the doom and gloom, fear mongering style of Brother Stair. And when I learned of his personal life, just sickening. Yeah, that's the thing. As not going much into religion because this is not the topic, but I was born Catholic, and I remember young, there was a church, mostly with Haitian people, the Haitian community. And I remember one time thinking, why is it that I go to church with school telling me basically I'm going to hell because we got to get down on our knees. We almost got to crawl. You got to confess. And the more you hear about it, the more it's like, yeah, I'm going to hell, basically. But you turn around and on the corner street, there's a small church and they're singing and they seem to be like having fun with God. It seems to be a fun thing. And I always thought, okay, I'm not religious, but if I would go to a church, I'd rather have a church that celebrates the fun of, hey, God exists, and when we die, we go somewhere that's going to be fun, rather than, son, you got to stop drinking, you got to stop doing this and stop doing that, and do not do this, do not do that. It's like, wow, I'm going to hell straight. It's like you listen to that and you're like, and that always intrigued me. And when I was young, that was one of the parts that intrigued me a lot, because it's like, shoot, my church is telling me I'm going to hell, but that church is like, they're having fun. It looks fun, actually. You almost want to go. That's also all and that's where, when you say the doom and gloom stuff, that's crazy. It's like, come on. Yeah, Wing Wong. That's a realistic right here. That's a realistic Pro 2006. That was the one that came out just a year later. Thomas, where's the kitty? He's I think he's still sleeping outside on the balcony in the backyard. In the summertime, he likes to sleep outside and just enjoy the beautiful weather. And it's beautiful today. Brian Penny enjoys Bob Hale's organ music on WTW. It's an acquired taste, I know. So, there's for every taste, and that's kind of cool, actually. Anyways. Derek, WEWN comes in rather weak, even though it's out of Alabama. I think he actually beamed towards Latin America. Hey, my laptop shut down again. What the hell's happening here? It's one of the fans wore out or something. This is bizarre. 2 times in like a couple of minutes. So anyways, it's the WEWN here comes in quite well. 15610 is like booming in all day long here. They are more of a Catholic type religious broadcaster. I listened to WEWN a couple of times. You know why? Because I've always been fascinated with why religious broadcasters use shortwave. Because, there's a lot of it. And one of the things that comes out of that is you're thinking, one of the things you're thinking is why do they choose shortwave? Why is shortwave so popular with everything that is, why is it that it is so popular for them to be on shortwaves? Is why I've always questioned myself as to why shortwave? Because you think about it and you're like, really, shortwave? Isn't there a better, wouldn't there be a better way of getting some of the, the word of God out, basically? And I listened one afternoon because one of the things about the WEWN is they have a live call-in show every afternoon. I don't know how many hours it lasts, but it's really live. Because at one point I was like, okay, And I noticed it was actually very live. And they always ask, where are you listening from? And that was funny because when I heard that, I was like, oh, you know what? They're asking where people are listening from. I'm going to listen all afternoon to see and count how many people are actually saying, oh, I'm listening on shortwave on 15610. So after about 2 hours of listening, maybe 3, because I left the radio on, of all the people that called in, and there were dozens and dozens of people, one mentioned he was listening in on shortwave. Everybody else was saying they were listening from an FM or an AM radio outlet, which made me think, so shortwave is not a big thing for these stations. Why are they even broadcasting there? You know, it's funny when you look at it. But you know, so Jim F from Rhode Island, nice to have you here. What else do we have? What else do we have? What else do we have? All right, JDA Dakota, doom and gloom just scares people away. It's great to rejoice, but I do live in the real world. Yeah. What else do we have? Just check it out here. It's weird, my laptop stopped twice. And I mean, just like completely, you know. Brad and Amarillo are listening to HM01 on 17480. Thanks to you. I'm using a PL330 and just a telescopic. Cool. That is cool. Take care, Tristan. See you on August 11. Don't forget, guys, that are leaving. August 11 is the next time we're going to be here for the live show, as we are going to remodel the, J. Dakota, shortwave is the worldwide, about the gospel in general, his voice. Yeah, I don't know. Chaz Tank says, I used to think in the 80s and 90s that all the shortwave religious broadcasts were aimed at Central and South America, but it seems now that I do not hear as many as I did back then. So, but there's a lot of, broadcasters that left also. So, Christian Marcoux, you're not going to a restaurant wearing that, are you? What kind of restaurant are you going to? I'm going to I'm going to the karaoke bar that I go all the time, which is also a restaurant. So they have Chinese and they have steaks, they have Chinese fondue, they have cheese fondue, they have all sorts of things. So yes, I will be wearing this there, but karaoke is not allowed because of it's not yet ever all open. So yeah, I will be going like this. It's okay. It's a place I've been going to all the time. What else do we have? Scarlett Belcher, wow, I love your questioning way of thinking. And probably one, no AM or FM would broadcast those types, but also a very sad thought. Think of someone in the world searching for answers and hearing that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Mad Reader DXer to add in places where digital services are not available. More or so for remote areas and other continents. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But the ones in the big broadcasters in the US are mostly US based and transmit pretty much US, except WRMI, which is much more different continent. I don't know. It's something you think about. It's like, okay, why are you? Howard says, I always wondered how many of the Moscow mailbag letters from North America were alleged. Back in the 70s or 80s, I think most of them probably were. I would honestly say that most of the letters they received and read on the air. But that said, they have to choose. And in 1975, I bet they got a lot of mail. So they had to choose, and they chose what they wanted to choose for the mailbag. They didn't have to invent any mail. They just chose the ones that they wanted to choose. That's all. Because they got a lot of mail. And that I'm pretty sure. Because I still remember when I sent that that letter and with a question, which was how many Canadians visit Russia every year, and it was read on the air. That pleased them. They wanted to let me know that people from Canada were going to the USSR. So I don't think they invented any of those letters. I think they just had such a nice pick that they choose only the ones that was kind of helping them put the USSR in the best possible light, in best possible way. Mickey Delmage, it's not on Windows 11. That one is still it's my gaming laptop on Windows 10. That just stopped twice in the space of 10 minutes. This is so weird. Never happened. Shelly Sykes, nice to have you here, Shelly. Nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. You need a spooky reason for your laptop shutting down. I can't think of one. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. Yeah, usually I sing, but because karaoke is not available because of COVID, actually they have a thing, but since I'm not staying because I'm just going there to eat. But there's a few videos online if you search a little bit of me singing there that are online. Yeah, 15610 Joel Dude is WEWN. Thanks, Sunpleo. No, you gotta listen to and monitor 10 meters regularly. It's quiet, often quiet, but do tune regularly. There's eSkip that brings it alive from time to time. Try it several times in the day, even night for eSkip. And when solar activity gets higher, probably you'll hear more. It's just that you've been unlucky more than anything else, probably. I can say. Chastank, there's your answer. You heard your letter read on the air and assumed it's Communist Canada. Yep. Oh, God. It shut down about it after I said I'm not religious. Oh, man. Don't start these. I'm going to start a broadcast of Brother Gilles on Shortwave. Oh, yeah, man. So, what else do we have? I think I'm down here on the chat. So, guys, I'm going to be leaving because in 45 minutes, we got a reservation for the restaurant. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Remember, 4 weeks off. So that means we're back in August 11th. We will be back, and we will be, of course, back with the regular schedule in a brand new environment. I'll give you guys a tour of the environment when we're back, so you guys can see what it looks like. Have a great month, everybody. A great 4 weeks of radio. I will be posting videos on the channel, so that will be pretty regular. You'll have a lot of stuff. And hey, Levi Nathan from Israel, nice to have you here. And of course, so you'll have content. I'll be posting regularly in the Facebook group of what I'm listening to. And I want you guys to take care. And stay safe. And coming out finally as we go and leave, this is the official national anthem of the People's Republic, Communist State of Canada. Here we are with our national anthem. So stay safe, everybody. And please do join communism. It is the best way to live.
No.
We're talking of communism ads. Here we go. Oops. Two choices for you guys. Two choices for you guys. Red for Canada or red for communism. Tous les francophones, faites attention à vous et à la prochaine, le 11 août, où je vais revenir en force. Faites attention à vous. Stay safe, guys. Love you all.